Katie from Created by Katie, and I have a new video for you today. I recently did some shopping at Simon Says Stamp, and I picked up some new art impression stamps. This first one here is called Quilting Sisters, and I have a lot of friends and family who are quilters, including myself, and so I thought this would be a very fun card to make, maybe make a set of cards to give to somebody that they could give away with the quilt. And then I picked up this spinner image. This is called the chair spinner, and when I first saw the spinner stamps I fell in love, and of course having one on a chair spinning around, that's just even better. Sometimes the fact that your chair spins can be the best part of your day. Anyway, I'm going to be working with this today, making a spinner card, and so I wanted to share that with you. I also picked up these stamps, or dynamics, excuse me, from My Favorite Things. They're called the In and Out Diagonal Stitched Rectangles, and they kind of have a fun design around the borders on the inside and outside of your cut, and I thought they would work good for a frame in today's card. So moving on to this stamp, these stamps are on gray rubber. They are very good quality. I have quite a few art impression stamps and I really love them. And you can see the two images here. There's the front and the back, so when you stamp them separately, cut them out and put them together, they make the front and the back image. And you don't have to necessarily use this on a spinner card, but on the package itself, it does give you step-by-step instructions on how to make a spinner card. I'm more of a visual person, so I saw this on YouTube, but I'm going to be working with it here on YouTube too, but if you're not, you can use the directions there. Anyway, I'm going to be stamping these on Papertrey Ink's white cardstock. This is just the cardstock I use, and I have no problem with this cardstock with my Copic markers. It doesn't bleed. It works really well. And I always stamp with my Memento black ink, and I never have any problems. However, I've not used any of the higher quality, or I guess it would be a more weighted paper. Some of the others, I really like this paper, so that's just what I use. And I'm going to stamp both images on the cardstock here, and then I'm going to color them with my Copic markers. And as I was trying to get this video to load, that was the one part that was just not working out. I could not get that section of the video to load properly, and so I just edited it out. I'm not a master at Copic coloring. I've taken a few classes. I've just watched a lot of videos. For these images, because they're kind of small, I just laid down 2 colors per section, and I left them more of a cartoony color than a real life shadow color, just because they're kind of a fun cartoony image. A lot of times I copy the shading and stuff that is on the packages with the art impression stamps. So I'm sorry I didn't get to share my coloring, but now I am moving on to making my frame. And I'm just using the same white cardstock. This is half sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock that I cut in half diagonally, or the long way, and I've scored it in half to make it my card base. And I'm using the second die in this die set to make the opening in the card front. And you see I put a shim there, but I really didn't need that. I wasn't really sure how it was going to work, and it worked out perfectly. But I've cut the hole in the front, and I have that extra piece there that I can use later on. And now I'm doing the similar thing, making the frame out of this blue cardstock. And so I'm going to use the larger of the dies, and this one only cuts on the inside, and it's just slightly smaller than an A2 size card. And then I'm going to use the same one that I used on the white so that it makes a frame, and it will fit perfectly over the front of my card base. So I ran that through the Big Shot a few times, making sure everything cut and was nice and neat. This is kind of a fun little edge to the die cut. And there I have my frame. and it fits perfectly on the front of my card base. And then my little image will go inside, but I decided because you can see the back, I wanted to decorate the inside. And once I did that, I realized there's not much room for writing anything, and I think if I were to make this card to actually send to somebody, I would make the inside different so that I could write in there. However, I just wanted to make this one for fun and share it with you guys, so I'm not too worried about it. It's just kind of for looks because it will probably just sit on my desk. So I have my 2 images that I've colored and I've cut out. And a little tip, after I cut each one of them out, I put them together with the wrong sides together and then just kind of made sure that all of the trimming was the same so I didn't have any wonky edges. And I'm just working with a few pieces of embroidery floss to put in between the 2 pieces. Kind of makes a sandwich, your wrong sides together of your 2 images. And I'm using my Tombow glue. So once I put them down, I can kind of move things a little bit and make sure that everything is lined up. And I want to make sure that it's going to stick really good, so I'm just going to use an acrylic block to lay on top of this to hold it down. Now, if it were my friend Mary, she probably would sit on it. Right, Mary? Anyway, moving on, I am ready to put this together. And so I have my card base, I have my frame, and I have my image. And I am sticking the string through there across the top. And at this point, I just used Scotch tape. This was kind of just a learning thing for me. And now that I've played with this and spun it a few times, I think I would probably have gone with sticky tape, something a little bit stronger than Scotch tape that really didn't want to hold it as well as it could have. It still works fine, but I think in the future that's something I'm going to do. I am just using my ATG gun to put the frame on, and that's perfectly fine. Of course, if you use sticky tape, you can go all the way around your frame too. And I'm ready to put it together. And as I'm laying this down, I remembered I forgot to trim the string off before I did that, so I was trying to kind of do that as an afterthought. I really was just playing with this, and this was my first time working on something like this, so you're kind of seeing my oops and whatever, but really this is a very easy and fun card. It's going to impress your friends when you spin it up, put it in the envelope, and they open it up and it spins. They're going to be amazed. So you can see how it hangs there, and then I just started twisting and twisting. You really do have to twist it quite a bit in order to get a good spin. But after you do, get it all twisted up, stick it in the envelope, and when the recipient opens it up, they are going to love it because it's just going to pop right out and spin. And there's our fun little lady spinning on her chair. I wanted to also add the sentiment to this, but I wasn't really sure where I wanted it to go, so I cut out a little white circle and a vellum circle out of some vellum cardstock. And I didn't know if I stuck it on the outside if it would hit the spinner, and I didn't want anything messing that up. So I just decided, because really I'm just going to use this for decoration, I'm going to put it just inside there, and it looks just fine like that. And then, of course, after all is said and done and I can let this sit for a little bit, I pulled out my Wink of Stella. This is the clear Wink of Stella, and then I did use some of the silver Wink of Stella on the chair parts, just for a little bit of fun, adding in there. Whoever receives a card like this is going to love even something a little bit more. So there you go. That is my fun spinner card. I had a lot of fun making this. I wish the video wasn't so hard, but here it is, and now you guys can enjoy as well. Thanks for visiting. Have a great day. As always, all of my supplies are listed on the bottom of this video and in my blog post.